Hey you guys, it's me in this 5 and 5 with 5 tips for negotiating when sourcing. This is actually one of my favorite because I love sourcing. I've actually gone so many different places from Peru and South America and almost everywhere, even Europe, to source. And I have to say that when it comes to negotiation, I don't like to brag, but I'm the ish. I'm the bomb because I know my stuff, and so I'm going to give you my stuff that I know. And these are the top 5 things. So number 1, know the season. I mean, if you're buying denim or if you're buying silks or if you're buying zippers or whatever your case, you have to know the season. You have to know exactly when are people really, really buying. And sometimes if people are really, really buying, that's not the season you want to go to. And I'll give you an example. Trade shows are usually in February, and the biggest trade shows for sourcing is in February and in July. So you know a lot of people are going to be buying around that time. So what's up? They're going to get a lot of business, right? They might not be keen to negotiating with you. However, if you get that contact and you contact them 2 months later, 3 months later, when their season starts to slow down, you know your season. The next one, number 2, know your trends. Know the trends. If you know the trends that people are using a lot of zippers, for instance, I'm on the zip case here now. They're using a lot of zippers in dresses and pants and everything. Everything has a zipper in it. Even if it's not a non-functional, you know that our zippers are in demand. So this is where you have to understand going to the actual source of the source. Get it? Where do they manufacture these? Where do they really come from? And try to stay away from China. I know, I don't like to say that, but you have to try to stay away from it because what happens is the turnaround time might be so long and their minimums might be so high that even negotiating it might not even work for you. So find the source of the source and the source, and that's all by asking the right questions without really asking your question, if you know what I mean. Number 3, know your competitor's price. Know their competitor's price. There you go. Basically, if I've had a great experience with buttons. I know buttons, they're you can get them anywhere. No. That's not how it is in the sourcing world. Get to know everyone who is selling those buttons, the buttons you want, and know their prices, know it in and out, and know their minimums, and already kind of negotiate what they're willing to do so that when you go to the board and negotiate, you have your facts. Remember, even if you don't know, just pretend and call bluff, if you've ever done that. Because what happens is that when you're a new brand, every penny counts. I mean, if you're taking Beauty in the Brains course, you should know this. But if you're not, budget's important. So sourcing is the most important because it has to do with your, CTP, cost to produce. And the lower that is or the better that is, even with quality, you want to make sure you're being fair to your customer. Number 3, I love this. So I was going to say buy in bulk. So what happens is that you're negotiating and you're only negotiating a certain amount. But if you know your designs and you know you're buying thread or you're buying a certain type of fabric or a lining of some sort that you can use in many different collections or planes that you can always dye later and use it out of something else or whatever the case is, buying in bulk is always best. And that's why I say stay away from China, because sometimes their minimums are way too high. But if you buy in bulk and you break it up and having a contract with them, the sourcing representatives will definitely be okay, we'll work with you. So that's number 4. Number 5, know your numbers. Know your numbers. Know how many yards you need. Don't walk into a place and say, well, how many yards do I need for that? No, know your numbers, because what's going to happen is they're going to ask you, so what are you making? And you're like, I'm making a 2-piece. They're like, oh, you definitely need 10 yards. You don't need 10 yards. So know your numbers, because at the end of the day, once you know your numbers, you can multiply that. And of course, there's always going to be some shrinkage. There's always going to be some extra, and there always might be something that might get ruined or whatever the case is. So know your numbers, even a little bit extra. And that's 5 and 5. See ya.